Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure we will. Yeah, just the boys are ready to go early today. We're getting on time. I'm loving it. In all fairness, massive change since back when I used to do some Asian games when it was like literally, Tom, I don't know if you've experienced this. There was a game in which I was sat here. It was for a different company, I shall say. I was just messaging the mods like, any news? And they're like, no. An hour late, the team started joining. No. An hour late, the team started joining. No reason. Even when the game started, they asked, why were you late? And they just didn't respond. They just both started. It was like, what are you going to do? Disqualify both of us?
Did they ask in the right language?
Should have happened. Maybe not. That's the thing. Maybe to them, it was just symbols coming at them. Yeah. Just speaking English to the poor dudes. But yeah, so what I was saying was, previously the BREN versus Maslow game that closed out the last season of Or was genuinely the worst game of Counter-Strike I've ever watched. And the reason that it probably overtakes Tyloo versus After was that it went to 3 maps, Tom. The first was in overtime, the second was 16-13, and the third was 16-14 or something to that effect. And I could probably point out 3 rounds in it that I enjoyed.
With Jason?
Yeah, that made it worse, definitely.
Too. Okay, fair enough. I understand.
But no, genuinely, it was the worst game of Counter-Strike I'd ever seen. And to see them turn around, I was impressed with their performance yesterday. I don't think they played terribly. Obviously, Micro leaves a lot to be desired. He's new on the lineup. I don't know what level of experience he has versus these kind of teams. So I don't want to just go in on him. I mean, it's very easy. I learned my lesson with Magics. A player can be new to a roster. You're trying to find how you fit into it. And then how you, then over time, obviously, you can warm up to that and to the opponents you're facing against. So I don't think it's fair to just come in and say, well, he's trash. But he has been playing like trash. That's for sure.
Trash so far.
Trash so far. There we go. But yeah, it is always worth noting, he can warm up into it. Like, if, for example, if we saw someone like Derek drop 5 kills, 2 maps in a row, you'd be like, what the hell's going on? This guy sucks.
The only thing I do want to say is that the thing that's confused me, especially with a fair few of these teams, is why their warm-up is in the tournament. Like, this is the biggest thing to play for in the Asian region by a country 100%. Mile. Like, it's not even close with the amount of money that's on the line, with what is at stake for opportunities, especially now with the likelihood of more RMR events being added later on, that chances are that they could actually have a real chance to qualify. Small one, because Tyloo are Tyloo. But to basically go like, hey, this is our new player, let's give him a go. So it seems like a weird time to do that. Like, I feel like you would have wanted to practice a little bit more beforehand and get him accustomed to the roster rather than like that. That's why if this was any other Asian tournament, like be it one with like the one that ESL ran recently, like the Cologne one, even that to an extent, I would have been like, okay, you know what? They had to make a change sometime, or the DreamHack one that happened as well. But when you're going into the tournament that means everything, the perfect world tournament, obviously an organizer from the region itself and the one that leads to the major, I don't want to give that excuse. Like, he needs to be better. There's no excuse for it. Like, it's 13 kills over 2 maps. That's not good enough. And I want him to play well. I want him to do better. But like, realistically, if you lose your first 3-4 games, sure, there's still more to come. But do I expect Tyloo to lose 3 or 4 games? No. Do I expect Invictus to lose 3 or 4 games? No. Vici? Probably not. If you've already lost to Tiger, that's a problem. So you're then aiming to try and get that last spot. And well, if you're aiming for 5th or 6th, like we sort of mentioned, you're going to hit Tyloo in the playoffs. So it's like, you need to be good now. There's no time to sort of like, let's improve as we go, even if you do have a lot of matches to play.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that one. It's a very lackluster decision. Also, we've been lied to. Black coming in. Oh, the game is starting, Mitch. The game is starting. He just wanted to go get his lunch, didn't he? I think he's got a delivery coming, so he was popping down to grab some food. What a cheeky play. But yeah, the boys are getting ready. Pistol round just about to go underway. And yeah, I don't know where I'm at in this one, honestly. Dust 2 between these two teams. You've got a weakness straight away in Micro over on the CT side. That's a bit of an issue. I feel like Tiger should be winning the... Well, no, Tiger definitely should be winning the series, for God's sake. It's the team that won the first Or event for this region. that, you know, teams going into the previous or more, by the way, or like viewers in general were saying like, oh, Tiger, they're basically like the number 3 team in Asia at least. Some were arguing that they were now like the new Giants, and maybe they're better than Tyloo. No, they're just not. And we saw that last or more. This is where they need to come in and really get off to a good start, because that previous game, yeah, they won it 2-0, but it sure wasn't clean.
But yeah, it was 2-0 against the team that personally I think are the worst team in the tournament so far. Like from all the teams we've seen, I think After are the worst team we've seen. So, and they had, or either that or they had their worst performance. That's the only other option. Like, they played better today, granted, but that was against Tyloo, who were taking the piss. Either way, nice start. It is going to be Cabal now being traded out. That P250 hits the deck, but they've managed to get close enough that now the Glocks are effective. 9 was someone yesterday who was fairly impressive, but he does get caught. The cover not quite there. However, Urkust lurking him from behind. I like how he takes a more passive angle. Doesn't need to overface here. Staying alive would be far more valuable. And this is just smart, intelligent play. He's trying to group up with the rest of his team, take a different, more favorable angle. Each duel he takes, he's making it harder and harder for the guy to kill him. And sure, he dies, which isn't ideal, but he's wasted, what, like 10, 15 seconds of the CT's time, and the remaining 2 players of his team are on the site. Still, though, it's getting a little bit dicey, but that's the kit down. So now it has to be a fast kill coming out. Dobu, it's awkward. It's really awkward. He's now just trying to dodge the bullets, and he gets there in the end. Oh, every single fight over that last, like, 30 seconds was gross, but Tiger do finish the job.
That was gorgeous as well. I love the Matrix impression. Just dipping, weaving, ducking, dodging, diving all over the place. Fantastic work. But after that very awkward duel and awkward end to a round, we do end up with Tiger taking the pistol. That's another beatdown for BREN. You know, this is one they definitely wanted to participate in. Well, I guess they participated in it. They just lost. But had they have won this, it would have been that nice, healthy boost to their economy. And you saw even in the previous or the first game of the day for Tyloo, that was a big reason that they even won. Had they have lost both pistols, they could have been upset.
Triple scout?
It's one way to go. Wits on a scout.
It. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I'm a big fan of the scout. I think on maps like Train, I'm actually almost for at least double scout if you lose the first round, because I think that it's very, very effective. The only thing is I kind of like seeing 2, because then you have 3 people to almost clean up the mess. What is
this though? Double scout mid, they had. And then you've got 1 watching short, so they're not occupying long.
They've won this round. This has worked. That's 3 kills already for Pro. Urkust is already on 18 HP. This scout play has worked wonderfully. Like, maybe it shouldn't have worked as well as it did, but hey, they hit all of the shots, they cleaned up the mess, and BREN made that round look really easy.
We didn't catch what Pro was doing, but he was back of B site, right? Just holding the longer range angle. Here we go. There's 1 tag on the way through. Oh man, just shutting them.
Why was that
absolutely
Molotov
shredding?
Like the last thing they did.
Yeah.
Let's use the Molotov after we're all dead.
Yeah, and even the fact that they throw it in the first place, look how long they spend in the tunnels. Like, they're literally standing on range versus him the whole time, instead of actually bursting out. I know you don't expect a scout to be backside, certainly not when you've already spotted 1 on middle, but that's it's unfortunate for them that they've ran right into it and given away those fights.
This has been a huge boost to the CT economy. Of course, if they convert this round, then this is the perfect start. It's the best start you can have to any map in terms of economy. Obviously, not in terms of rounds, but it will completely reset the T-side economy. That's why they've gone for a force here. Urka's going to be on the scout with some Kevlar behind it. The rest of the players all on pistols. Now, they do have to be careful, the CTs here. They don't want to give too much up. They don't have any reserve cash other than Wits, who managed to keep the scout from the previous round. NCL trying to make a bit of a solo play into middle, and well, realistically, that is a very, very easy kill for the CT side to take.
Poppy Chulo's up close here, a little bit of a money maker for him. Nice free kill, backs off a little bit, hiding down inside the doors. They've got the map control locked down. The only issue his wits, really. He has to find a tag and run away, but this guy is consistent when it comes to the scope. Already got himself one. That flash almost opens up the ability for them to trade him out. They're not able to find anything, and Pappy comes up behind to guarantee no plant. They're going to just rush him down, but 9 gets it just before Pappy swings wide on the angle. Good stuff. Like a bomb planting around like that, it's not it's at least some sort of an upside, but they really needed to get a couple of kills on the board there.
Yeah, like in reality, you have to take that round what it was. So that was all their money put into this round. So yeah, bomb plant's nice now that they've lost, but realistically, in terms of what they set out to achieve, which was win the round, they weren't even close. So for BREN, good conversion. Sure, it makes the buy going into the next round a little bit better for Tiger, and realistically, they could invest a little bit more into this one, a deagle or two to try and do some damage, but with BREN keeping things flawless, their money's going to be booming, and now they have a chance versus what is basically an eco round. As you can see, just a couple of P250s, a single flashbang, and by the looks of it, they're going to blast into the B side. Now, they actually have... if that Molotov wasn't there, or even if they pushed it, they could have won that round. Maybe not won it, but they could have at least got a bomb plant, because there is only one defender of the B side. It was a 4-man long stack. Nonetheless, things become a little bit more normal after nobody pushes that avenue.
Oh, the pistol train, it's coming up towards B. Gonna have to be some serious damage done to keep them out now that they've got close range fights, but they've shut down the conga line. The speed really just took a massive hit as they came up towards the top of the ramp. I was feeling like that could have been just overwhelming with numbers, right? But instead, they pick off the middle guy. First one through the window has no trade, obviously, because of that, and then everyone just looked kind of lost. Tragic turn of events, but for Tiger, 3-1. Yeah, BREN are certainly answering up. They are showing that they've got some serious capability. And they wouldn't have had this kind of performance, even just from what we've seen so far, in the last hour or more. Things have definitely improved. As I said, I much preferred the lineup with Jalen, and I hope it was his decision to leave and not a decision to replace him, because that was a terrible choice if it was. But as far as the core goes, in terms of their approach to the rounds, they're certainly looking a little bit more confident in themselves.
You never know. Maybe he was it left a bad impression on them, or it was a bad influence even. Now they're going to play just much better fundamental Counter-Strike. We can all dream. A minute 10 left on the clock. They've kept a couple of bonus weapons here, a MAC-10 alongside a scout, but if you look how much money there currently is for the CT side, that's absolutely fine. And if they can even get 3 more kills here, they would actually be in a very good spot to put the hurt back onto Tiger once again. Of course, for Tiger, a little bit of a different scenario. They have a glass cannon AWP, and other than that, it's just the rifles and utility. So they do look to try and pressure on towards this A site. Good Molotovs to try and force back the CT side, and they are just pushing Derek into what is a very awkward corner. But the Molotov, I hate that the Molotov shroud vision. Very difficult to see him over the top of it. Cabal with a double trade, someone who is fairly impressive in the matches we saw yesterday. And with all the extra utility they've used to sort of hold back these remaining players, they've set themselves quite nicely here for the retake.
Oh, Cabal. He's swinging wide. He gets some damage, but now they're going to just swing and look to take him down. He's out of ammo. For Tiger, that's more than enough, the 1-for-1 trade. They managed to keep BREN locked out. Because they realize after losing that player and taking the damage on Pro, it's just not worth going for, especially with the time remaining. So out of there they go to save those weapons. And we do get a close start to the game, at least, with Tiger answering back up. They're not just being shut down straight away. Which is really what you expect, though. This isn't a team that will go quietly. After opening it up with a very close pistol round and then losing those preceding 3, again up against the triple scout setup, and it was only one of them really that was doing the damage over towards B in the second round, that left Tiger in a pretty bad spot, because this round just now, that's the only time they've really looked good. Other than that, it's had to be clutch plays or just disastrous losses.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be something that continues. Of course, as mentioned, that was somewhat of a bonus round for BREN. That was them keeping a couple of riskier weapons. Now the AWP comes in onto Wits, and the same is there for his counterpart. Money still actually pretty good for the CT side. A couple of players with enough to purchase comfortably into the next round. Derek might be a little bit further off than everyone else, but not too much of an issue. For the T's, well, there's not much of a bank at all. A bomb plant is a bare minimum in this round. We're going to see this long aggression. You can tell that BREN are really expecting an eventual burst out of long. It's a common strategy, of course, but as of yet, we've only seen a single round where it's really been challenged for. And, well, in that round, the CTs didn't challenge for it at all.
I want to see where Tiger take this one coming into the last minute of the round. They've got control over top mid. Well, they had it at least. And they have control over tunnels and a little bit of a poke towards long. Obviously with no access taken towards middle. They were thinking about the B side attack. But I think they've just heard the scope go in for Wits. And realized that maybe it's not the best idea to push very two-dimensionally into an op anyways. So they need the mid control. They're coming down towards short with 3-4 players, in fact, and a late rotate as well by Dobu conceding long control. And so we're looking at a very, very two-dimensional A push, in fact. I'm presuming they're just going to line up their smokes to try and block off an op who could be playing over towards long. That molly should... It should slow them down, but Derek... Oh! He uses the utility very early, but connects a really nice nade to NCL.
Oh, Derek, he's getting a little bit of chip damage, but they're still making their way forward. A quick trade as they make the move into the site, and Derek is still here. Pro even alongside him to help a little bit, and they've got to go for the plant. Oh, is he going to be able to deny it? Not quite, but it may not matter. They're quickly cleaning things up. A nice shot, though, and Urkus has come up with 2. I don't know how they've turned this around in the 2 versus 4, but it seems everything has slipped for BREN. Now Wits needs his wits about him as there's still a man in the corner. He has to clear. Urkus has managed to sneak his way back across after the double he achieved, and it seems like Wits is aware at least of the man on short, but he won't be able to do anything. A slip up for BREN, a round that really should have gone their way. And although the economy's still not bad for this round, it's starting to get a little bit more awkward.
Things are slipping away ever so slowly. You know, you look at this position where Pro is able to just stand in the open, catch them on the cross, even with their smokes in play. Nobody's swinging to try and cover over on that. It's just 1v1 fights. Things definitely got a little bit too close, I suppose. There are too many opportunities were given over towards the BREN side for my liking. Again, though, 3-3, a position where, you know, winning this round leaves the CT side with no money. So this should be a spot a Tiger can play from. They've already done serious damage towards Wits, who's pushed up incredibly aggressively. That flash completely pulling him off the angle, though. And so all the info now starts to dissipate. They've got heavy long control, and they can leave one player just anchored in there as Pro maintains that control. They look to reinforce the A side itself. Oh, no, actually, Pro leaves long. Why is he pulling all the way back? They've seen nobody cross in CT, but they want to have a 2-man play on A site to push short when they had long control. This is reckless so late in the round.
Oh, this is a weird one. They're not doing it with any utility, and sure, NCO ends up getting blinded, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan, especially with the amount of players that they had there. It seems like Tiger's full strategy at the moment is just to continue to put the pressure onto short and long. We haven't really seen a play into this B site since the round that they lost to the Scout, which, for anybody wondering, was round number 2. Here fall these smokes, a deep one going in to allow anybody to cross from long, although there isn't anybody in that position. 20 seconds left as they go for this late take once again. Pro in a good position, but again, the Molotov. I hate it so much. He couldn't see a thing as the man crosses and are leaving just 2 players. Micro has no choice. I was going to say, but to save his gun, but he's not even allowed to do that. Although Wits is going to get 1 for his troubles. He's left on just 14 HP, and saving seems like a tough task.
Well, at least he's got 1. See if he can find any more.
He's dead,
guarantee his weapon saved. This would have to be a really sick play. He gets 1 and jumps up on top so 9 can see him from the tunnels. Yeah, I mean, he could have gotten away with it, but it would be unbelievable if he did. I 100% agree with you as well, Tom, by the way, about the Molotovs. Like, they really shouldn't obscure vision. It's not what they're for, and it's like, why? Why is that in the game? I don't know. Because realism. Like,
I just love the idea if there was like a small, like, puddle like fire on the floor that I'd be like, Mitch, where are you? I cannot see you anywhere. Like, if it was like a mountain of fire, like, I don't know, you've created a massive bonfire or something, then fair enough. It's literally just like, this only burns up to about knee height, but you standing cannot see me. Ha 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 ha. It's like, God, yeah, all right.
Not the most sensible, really.
Also, the fact that if people fiddle around with their settings, they can like see slightly better through it. That just seems like an awful mechanic. And the fact that from one direction, you can normally see better through it because that's how flames work. So let me just set up my one-way fire.
Yeah, not a lot of it makes sense. It is what it is. Let's take a look in towards the BREN Pistola round. Oh, they've managed to isolate Urcast. They know he's here in mid. They've got players coming down through the tunnels. This is dangerous, Urcast. He's in trouble. He's managing to isolate these fights, though. Come on. You've got pistols. And you're all grouped up. You just need to push them all at once. And instead, they just run in one by one as if they're singing hurrah, hurrah.
I just imagine they're all doing a countdown and they all started at different times. Just like 3. Okay, 3. Okay, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. And it's just like, how? Surely there's one dude going 3, 2, 1, and then you still didn't push.
Maybe they all have different
going,
latency.
Go!
They all have different latency to the voice server, so they heard each of them at like different times the voice came through. Or they just were being a bit silly. One or the other.
Yeah, I think it's probably that option, but you know, that option's not quite as fun.
We can't say for sure, though.
True. Well, we're going to have a purchase backup now for BREN. It's been a hiatus from the board, and the worry is here. You have to remember they got off to the best possible financial start in this game. They lost the pistol, won 3 rounds in a row. Now, since then, not been going so great. 4 runs in a row for Tiger. A few of them were relatively close here and there, but realistically, that doesn't matter anymore. It's all about starting to break their economy back, which they'll be fine for the next round, even if they lost it, especially with 9 having $6,650 in the bank. Also, short control has been a real issue, and it seems like the way they plan to fix it is to put one man on his AWP. And I don't doubt Wits' ability, but that's quite a lot of pressure considering that has been the main point of contact over the last 3 rounds.
Well, you know, if you think about Wits' Dungeons and Dragons character, I think he would be called Wits the Inconsistent, based on last season.
Oh, I thought he was going to be the Lion, the Wits, and the Wardrobe.
Well, that would be a weird name. Have you ever met someone called the Chair, the Desk, and the Light? Like, that's I don't know. Not in Ireland, anyways. We don't have those kind of names. But, yeah, so this season he's been a little bit better, was the point I was going to make before Tom made a terrible joke. Bro, he's on the site. He's looking for some more, but he only gets 1. And with that, BREN in trouble. But Micro, he's here to save the day. Looking for the final kill, and he gets it. Shutting them down with a 3K. Almost as many kills as he got in the previous maps we saw him play. And a fantastic job saving over the op. Doing a couple laps as well. Victory lap. And he's looking for... What's he even looking for? They've got double ops already. You looking for utility?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe he was just spotting that kit for his teammate, as well as having some util.
Oh, we finally saw a switch up from them. Good aggression from Micro. He looks a little bit more comfortable on this map as well. I think that's another thing when you're a new member slotting into a squad. A lot of the time, you're just going to pick up the role of whoever the last person was, unless you're a star player, basically, and they're going to try and fit things around you. So he's probably had to get used to some new roles. On Dust 2, I don't really accept that excuse. Like, everybody knows how to play Dust 2. Like, you should be able to fairly easily pick up most positions, same as Mirage. It's been in the map pool for so long. Chances are, if you've been playing the same spot for 5 years, then, well, something's wrong, or you're fantastic. So, Wits gonna try and hold on to this cross. As said, they've had real trouble dealing with the execution that comes out from Tiger on short, and it's not gone any better as the man in the mid, the former pro, is gonna fall. This gives a lot of space over, especially with the isolation of the B site. Micro would be the only man there, so they're going to have to try and rotate Pappy into position. Throw out a little bit of utility, but oh no. Oh dear, it's left a gap. A very slight gap, and that's enough for Urkas to capitalize.
That's a problem. Kill given away. In the previous round, they got away with it over on the BREN side because Tiger just didn't expect another player to be in that position towards the B site. This time, they won't quite get away with that. And so it's got to be the heads-up duels. Wits, he comes through with one. With Dobu dropped, though, they're not going to be peeking into long. They know all too well that these players are in position, but Micro has managed to pick one up. But Derek's being caught. The rotate now can be cut off by Urkas. And Micro kind of has to deal with him in middle before actually making a push towards the site. He tries to go for the spam and gets very close to it as well. Urkas with 29 HP afterwards. But he has survived, and he can be the thorn in the side, stopping them from even going for this. Micro has to constantly be worried about that push coming behind him from middle. And Urkas does well not to peek this, because it delays the time, right? If Urkas swings and dies, all of a sudden they know they just need to worry about the site. But because he doesn't peek, and he holds, they end up making the save call.
I have to say, like, Urkas today and Urkas yesterday are two different beasts. Like, it's someone that we expected a lot from, so maybe my judgment of him yesterday was a little bit unfair, but we know that he's played at a much different level of Counter-Strike to the majority of people we see within the Asian region. And he had a few whiffs yesterday. Like, he was the B-site defender on Train, which is our third map within this series, if we get there. But he's been a force to be reckoned with in this map. I think the difference, if anything, when it comes to these two teams, currently 13 and 7 on the scoreboard. And while the CT side, they've got a solo warp, they will find 9. Good start to the round, and that does at least leave an additional weapon, but in a position that's very, very difficult to retrieve.
I don't quite know how you get into a spot to pick that one back up. At least, though, it is the kill going their way, and we'll see if they find any more. Now with the op spotted, though, I think realistically Tiger are going to realize that that is the only weapon that they need to worry about. They heard where it went as well. The downside of pushing into the other site is that obviously you're offering up a lot of close-range duels versus pistols. Sakai isn't on the server, so no Zoo spot up. It's always a shame.
I think Kabao spotted this rotation already. He was watching with the AWB. I believed he whiffed his shot. Well, he did. The player's alive. Urkas, though, again, as said, he's causing a real nuisance. He's had a lot of openings through mid. That pick actually leaves the B site relatively open. Oh, it's close. A lot of bullets spammed up, and Urkas now does open up that B site. Something I want to know, Mitch, is this something normal for HUDs, or is this just something for PGL that when... Because I haven't noticed this before. when you shoot on this HUD, like but you see the gun is lit up.
Yeah.
So if the gun's in the hand, it lights up, and when they shoot, it goes grayer for how many bullets they've used.
Yes, that's not normal for HUDs. That's just for this HUD. We noticed that last season. It's awesome, isn't it?
I didn't notice that until today, and then I was watching. I was like, wait, his bullets are going down on the HUD.
Yep.
So yeah, for anybody else who hasn't noticed that, just keep an eye. So if the gun is lit up, as you can see the difference between, for example, Cabal and Wits, that means he's got the gun in his hand. So for example, if you switch to your knife, it would not be lit up. And it will slowly go more and more grey the more bullets they shoot. So you'll be able to tell if someone only has a few bullets without actually having to see their POV. Which I'm not going to say is like something I will use all the time, but it is really cool that is added onto the HUD. So props to PGR, because those are little details that, like I said, it's not something we necessarily need, but it's really cool that it's there.
I mean, it helps sometimes. Like, you'll notice at some point, I'm sure over the season, there's an opper on a corner and he's got his pistol out, and you'll notice that from the other side of the map. And like those little things can help to understand what's happening before we even switch there. We don't need to understand what's happening before we switch to A, because we can see it on our screens. Wits! He's taking out his molly as he was being pushed down. That is faith in his teammates, but unfortunately his teammates are dead. So they've just been shut down, left into a 4 versus 2. Micro with the A1S. Not a fan. Manages to at least take down Urcast and put it into a 3 versus 2. And now, workable retake. They do really want to get in on this one. Like, in this position, I'm not calling for a save. You see if you can find that pick. 30 seconds on the clock. The opportunity was there to 9, but not quite quick enough to capitalize on it. And at this point, now you save. And yeah, the decision-making has been pretty good from BREN. I have to say, like, they are losing these rounds, obviously, and considering they get off to the 3-1 start, this is a terrible half. But in terms of... What?
Just the way the sentence started off, so positive. Yeah. Like, the decision making is really good. Obviously, they suck. But other than that...
No, so the thing is, teams, especially in this region, at their level, especially BREN last season, we're in a spot where you would be like, okay, guys, save. Then they'd push and lose one more, and you're like, okay, now save. Push and lose one more, you're like, all right, so it's a 1v5, save. And then they push and lose the weapon. And you're sat there like... Are you mental? Like, do you know that saving is an option? And there would always be really weird decisions. From me watching these rounds, I feel like their calls on when to save, when to push, when there's danger, like in a position where was it Micro, I think, who was in CT while Urcast was in middle? Yeah, it was. And he decides not to push the site because Urcast can backstab him or be on short and ready to take a crossfire. Like, their decision making has been on point. Their shooting hasn't. That's the problem, right? And like, you know, you can, to me, I would prefer, honestly, for you to have worse aim and be outclassed by Tiger, but be making the right decisions, because you can fix, like, your individual skill can develop over time. So can your team play, but if you're not making the right decisions and you're not thinking about the game right, I really don't care if you're not hitting your shots, or if you are, you're just bad. So it's respectable, I think. The fact that they've gotten better from the previous season is what I'm happy about, because that's all I want. This is the point of these tournaments, right, Tom? It's not so we can sit here and go, oh, look, this guy tried to peek them while flashed. Yay. We're not here to make fun of them. We want to see good Counter-Strike. Yeah, and the point of these tournaments is to develop the talent in the region.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is, obviously, if there's like someone... if you're below, like 18 years or below, and you're making some sloppy decisions, I think that's forgivable if your aim is amazing. Definitely. So, for example, Ronin, he makes some decisions I don't agree with at all, but he is individually skilled enough that I will forgive that and still say he's a very good player. What if he does that in 3 years still, then I'm going to be sat there going, you're a somebody wannabe and please stop.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that one. I do feel like in... Oh, no. Derek. He's just been slapped. He takes the molly out, and they've got bat sonar.
Oh, no, hear it straight away. Yeah, they saw it go through, so I think they just guessed where he was. Nice Molotov onto Dobu, though. Some of these rounds have been very close, but it has just been like some incredible individual skill. I think also Urcast has been an absolute force. He even gets one just as the smoke is fading. NCL finds another, but there's a good chance for Micro. Does he realize the second player's there? He doesn't, but his teammate has. Now, is this going to work out for 9? They expect, what a shot from Micro. That is not as easy as it looked. Just running across, spotting the man in pit, and BREN are going to make that retake work. Still, it was a decent round for them, decent retake, but it is quite terrifying for me how easy it is for Taika to get onto the bomb site and get after plant position. Like, it doesn't matter whether they push short or long. Like, these takes are just far too clean. Like, this is the... Up until they're on the bomb site, they didn't take any damage.
Yeah. You know, that's a massive problem. And you saw it with the start of the round, right? The flashes went out. I think they were going for 3-man long control. And then the second the flash came around, they all just ran away. And it was like, oh, you're just going to concede that control? Okay, cool. Well, let's see how you fight when they come out long. And they just didn't. They just let them all the way up to the bomb site. And that is a massive problem because you're giving the team so much space. Nonetheless, at 8-5, it's a workable spot. For BREN, you really need to be locking this down. Closing out the rest of the half as close as possible. I at least want to see them on the 6 rounds. And if only there, then picking up the pistol as well. It's a relatively long road for them, but from what we've seen so far, definitely one they're capable of reaching, which I wouldn't have guessed at the start of this series. Honestly thought Tiger would come in and fairly reasonably manhandle them.
Well, again, it looks like they're putting the pressure onto short. As I said, it's been an avenue where BREN have really struggled. Even if they've managed to take a round, which, well, as we've sort of mentioned, they've managed just 2 from in actual buy rounds. Yeah. And one of them was on B, so that kind of says it all. The last was the only round they've managed to take, and almost every time, in fact, every single time, the bomb has gone down or they've just been killed. So it's not been good. Urkus as well has been a problem, and how does Dobu manage to get away with that? I know that smoke's awkward to cover, but surely that should have been called out to a teammate. Nice work from Prova. Urkus is on fire. This is the man we wanted to see yesterday. Clinical, clever, and just a real problem for the side of BREN. They have been able to do nothing against him, and most of the time he's just been facing into mid. Bear in mind, he loses about half his HP in the initial duel that he takes before Dobu saves him, and while that savior has won them the round.
One last chance, one last dance. And for BREN, I feel like if they go down 10-5... Oh, hold on. Bro's got a chance to take down some weapons at least. I mean, there's so much money on the Tiger side that unless he killed all of them, and even then it would be tough to really force an eco out of them. They'd get their AKs. That's for sure. And they'd have the money to drop an op, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. Dobu's showing he can do something I can't. That's jump. I've tried many times.
The low center of gravity.
Exactly. It's evolution. I can't fall over. I do roll though. That's the problem.
Also means if there's a hill, you can get down it very quick.
I just can't get up without a ski lift.
Oh, okay. Pro, not a bad start to the round. You have to remember he's one of the players with only an SMG, so not a huge loss for them in the early stages. And he's definitely been one of the players that we've sort of seen step up. The problem is the fall off in comparison to some of the others from yesterday is massive. Micro also is definitely having a better game, but it's hard for him to be having a worse game. If he even gets a kill here, this is a miracle. The fact that there's 2 players waiting over by Titanic is ridiculous. And, well, that's got to be quite tilting. This is a really, really weird round. The bomb's still in spawn. 1 player now pushing towards the B site. Eventually, it looks like the other's going to join him. 2 players waiting for the push into B. And Derek might be about to throw a spanner in the works. Did he not see him cross? I guess he must have missed it by just an inch. Yeah, so did I. I thought I saw him, like, I thought from his point of view, I saw him cross. Maybe I'm just tired. And then he just, like, forgot.
I would guess that means he didn't see him cross, yeah, but it was odd. And now we end up in a position 1v2 last round. You have to go for it, pushing into B, and obviously they knew exactly where he was as the nade had come through. So holding it with an op, not too much of a chance that he's going to get away with it. We go 10-5 at the half. Tiger with a fairly convincing one, considering they were 3-1 down. They can be over the moon with how they've come out of this one, smelling the roses. And the craziest thing about this for me is the fact that they got the opening pick on long, and A has been such a big weakness for BREN, and then they still rotated to B, and I think Micro was also massively caught off guard by that, because he was just expecting to rotate. You saw he had his knife out going all the way up Titanic, and then he's like, wait, why do I hear steps?
There's a fairly audacious attempt by Derek. He does manage to at least catch a few shots onto Urkus, who's going to be left very, very low. And that's it. Like, he got 19 kills in that first half. So he is the driving force behind this Tiger side. Exactly what we want to see from the man who is definitely one of the more well-known players from Mongolia, of course, alongside the likes of Machine Gun. Looking like we might get a similar pistol round. Looking like it's going to be aggressively put onto the A site. I want to point out, as of right now, there are 0 players on A. So this is going to be the easiest plant you've ever seen. And yeah, after plant situation, retake attempted. Pappy going to have a lot of players coming his way. And he's going to mow them down with a Glock. Oh! He's ended up with 4! Oh, retake setup, and they don't even get to the bomb site. Urkus, he's been good. This would be the craziest clutch I've ever seen. It's not going to happen. An ace for Pappy. He's going to put himself on the map after what was an all right first half. That's one hell of a way to get the second.
Aye, Pappy, look at this. That is beautiful. How quickly he finds these two. 1, 2. He didn't even see the second guy coming around. He was still shooting the first. That's so beautiful. 10-6, and what a way to start it off, Tom. You know, you're coming back in. It's been a fairly rough first half, all things considered, and then you come through with an ace. That's going to get you hyped up and ready to go.
On the CT side, forcing up what little they can. 9 does manage a kill, but he's only going to retrieve a UMP, and the rest of the team all pushing through long. Should make this an impossibility. I was going to say, unless NCL can hit some crazy shots, and unfortunately for him, not going to be the case. Now, we do see a lot of teams able to pull up some pretty big numbers on the T side. A very momentum-based map, and if you get those early starts, you have the aim going for you. Definitely get yourself rolling. So I wouldn't count out BREN just yet. You mentioned the pistol win earlier could easily bring them back into this game. Well, they've got it. They've got the conversion. And of course, the fact that this was a force buy coming out of the side of Tiger means that they're not going to be buying into the next round.
Cabal, he's going to get an exit here. You can feel it. Oh, the wide swing by Pro. Well handled. Pappy with the trade. And 10-7, very little lost, really. And Tiger. I mean, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. They're down on low money. They're going to have to allow this to go 10-8. At least for the start of this half, BREN are looking good. But when it comes to buy rounds, we know things can definitely take a turn for the worse. Maybe even when it comes to these rounds, Tiger is stacked up on A. They wanted to go down long. They're playing with one flash on 9. He's further down in CT watching for a mid play. And they're hearing lots of noise on long. Only a matter of time till that flash comes around. And if BREN are on their way up long at that time, this could be a very, very tight round if the USPs hit their shots.
Well, they're in the right place, Mitch. Now, the flashbang timing's going to be everything. If it goes well, they could wipe out a few members and... Oh, do it now. Do it now. 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 Are they going to get turned on? I guess it's down to the spot. So if Urka spots them, then the flash goes. And this is where they're all going to go running through that smoke. It doesn't work. They've done a little bit of damage. Urkus didn't even see somebody run past him. Extra kills better than nothing, I guess, Mitch. But I honestly was hoping for a little bit more. What? How's he done that?
I'll take it.
That's just sheer dumb luck.
Wits didn't upgrade either. Wits ran towards CT, so he stays with a Galil. AK's lost. Overall, pretty good round for Tiger. They invested into a flash. That was it.
It's one of those things we always ask for, isn't it? Like, rather than buying a single P250, just buy a single flash. It's so much better if it works out. Double AWP straight away, though, for Tiger Mitch.
It's a very aggressive play. I guess they're banking on BREN giving them those opportunities. So far, that doesn't seem to be the case. They've got their smoke down on Xbox, move towards bottom mid, smoke out for CT, crossover. Oh, Urcast, he got caught. Didn't think they'd go quite that quickly. That's a valuable opening duel now. They don't have to worry about CT as they barrel towards the B side. NCL tries to go out for more, but he can't get anything done. And Cabal's got the op, so as they come through the smoke, he can only grab the single kill. That's a disaster of a round for Tiger, as BREN just steamroll them.
I really like that. I love a good change of pace, especially when you know that this is the first buy, so it's a little bit shaky normally for Tiger. Like, there might be a few pieces of utility missing, and you're not going to be expecting somebody to just run at you at that sort of pace. So for BREN, it was like, normally with those rounds you have some bonus weaponry, but obviously they didn't. So it definitely had a level of risk to it, but I really like it. They've taken down what was the majority of the defense. Sure, you've still got an AWP and rifle save, but even with the loss bonus building, Tiger are not going to have enough to buy properly into the next round. So you've not guaranteed 10, but you're definitely getting there.
I'm excited for the rest of BREN's game. Honestly, like, okay, the game versus Tyloo, we were sat there saying Tyloo are playing terribly, right? It was loose. It was not enjoyable to watch. This game, though, this is BREN delivering on a level that we haven't seen from them so far. Tiger making a couple mistakes, sure, but I don't think it's quite on the same level as yesterday. And 9 has not managed to connect that shot. Been tagged up a little bit on this way back, but it's just a tickle. So little that he's decided to go back in for another one, and that one... It's one of those things, Tom, you know, you miss the easy shots.
Yeah.
You hit ones like that.
Yeah, I'm the sort of guy to like completely miss a guy running at me in tunnels, but if I was outside of B, I would more likely wallbang him. Like, I feel like that's yeah. I'm more likely to hit that shot just by luck than anything else. But a good start to this round. That's exactly what you want to see from 9. He can buy the AWP in the next round, so he's not like taking empty risks. Like, oh, if he loses the AWP, it's over. He won't be able to afford another one. So he can definitely afford to be risky in these sort of positions. Dobu needs more than just a kill here. He has one of the only rifles remaining. Buying time is great, but that's the off angle for the first. Now he needs a little bit more, and he does some damage at least, and Urcast comes up big with the Deeg. Now they know that there's some weaponry lying around, especially in towards long, where he's just spotted the players coming across. Now they're not going to be able to spot anything, so they will be able to get the site under their control. Wit's trying to wallbang, and actually 9's going to go down to Pappy, who spotted over the smoke, but there is Urcast coming in on the flank. Doesn't really need to peek this. He's got players coming in. Push from short. Might actually end this round. Cabal, he's got the timing perfect. Huge round from Tiger. An upset to say the least. And the players with the weaponry actually doing a pretty important job. But as mentioned, Urcast, fantastic in the first half. And finally, he's going to step up in this second one too.
Well, here we go, rolling into the next round, and you can see BREN looking to go for some early long control, but pretty much just shut out by that early play with the Molotov. Now they decide to instead renegotiate their way in towards middle. Again, a molly awaits them. Seems like they just can't get any map control for free. Never mind for free, they can't walk anywhere. Eventually, Cabal shuts them down after the smoke fades. That molly bought him enough time to keep players towards top mid, as Wits returns it quickly onto a wallbang, leaving BREN in a position that I feel like they're still pretty happy with their early round performance. They even want to pressure middle a little bit, knowing that Cabal's around here with an op. Coming through that smoke is dangerous, though. He goes up close and rounds the corner into Pappy, who was holding it. Now it's all down to NCL. He's got an AUG in hand, and he finds one through the wall, but now he's being swung on. They see him below, but NCL still delivers another and just about holds on. This is doable, but a 1v2 retake of B, even despite Wits' low HP and with an op, it's not too doable, so he swaps out to the AK and tries to get in before that tunnels play comes into effect, but he can't quite get there in time, and Derek domes him anyways.
Good old Derek. No, this has been a real battle. I think this is the... well, this sounds almost harsh, but over the last 2 days, this is the first good match I've seen. Like, I don't think either team is playing like particularly bad. I don't think there's been a massive amount of mistakes. There's just some tasty shots and some good team play. And, well, NCL, a real nice attempt in this sort of situation. It looked like he was genuinely going to bring that round back, but instead, it's enough. Now, there is an AWP in play once again. This isn't a full investment. You've got 2 scouts and AWPs and deagles, and I'll make that just 1 deagle, as Urkus is going to be wrecked in the early stage. As said, in that last half, he was the reason that they managed to get through a lot of those rounds. On the CT side, it's a lot tougher, so they might need a little bit more. And, well, hey, 2 scouts hitting you at the same time, that might be just what the doctor ordered.
BREN slowly moving up long, but look at this rotate that they're running into from Tiger. All these players locked in position. The boost, it's failed, and they see it as well. My God, Micro has just come through with the freest frags of his life. Do they know there's a player on site, though? This could catch them off guard. Dobu, good for 1, but they know exactly where Cabal is. He's got a scout. He's got a kill with it as well. 1v2. Again, doable. It's going to be a tough one.
He's going to make the choice to go towards long. The chance of him winning this round, slim to none. Chance of him making it very, very costly, actually quite high. They're already at that mark. If he can even find another kill, that would be huge. And he gets the tag. Big round from Micro. And, well, we are seeing that clearly the prominence of this player. Like, this map alone, he has already got far more kills than he did in the previous. He was a strong position on that B site whenever they did go in that direction. Unfortunately, he had an awful lot of retakes. But going into this T side, I think we're really seeing him flourish. Able to pick them apart in this round. A 4K that was definitely an impactful one, and one that was needed for BREN. Now, as said, that was not a full investment. So the fact that they managed to do that much damage is huge. They now get the double AWP set up in once again. Rifles across every single player. But for Tiger, this is now crunch time, because correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch, but they've won 1 round in this second half?
Yes, they have. It was 10-5. And they have failed to get anything on the board since. Yeah, it has been a pretty rough situation for Tiger overall. Like, they're really being challenged by BREN. And that's definitely not what anybody would have expected, I think, coming into this game in general. Oh, the smoke down for Derek. He was in a little bit of trouble, burning alive. The nades coming through as well, but he just about manages to escape. Out of the mousetrap, at least. It's still going to...
The other thing as well is they haven't won a buy round. Because when you think about it, the round they won was the 2 rifle pistol buy, where Urkus gets 2 kills with the D. So... the CT side from Tiger, although it's not been as maybe a whitewash as it seems on the scoreboard, it's not been good. Especially into mid. I feel like that's where they're having a lot of their issues, because it seems like their response a lot of the time is to go for more aggressive faces, as we're seeing now from NCL. And he's had support in different occasions from either Cabal, cast, depending on who's there. really hasn't been going too well. This time, though, Cabal is going to open things up with the AWP, but they've given up B. That's something you never want to do. Even with the door change, this is a pretty interesting prospect, and Cabal's just whiffed. I think NCL's only just realized that they've completely lost the B side.
Well, that's less than ideal for sure. What is going on? This has been a wild and wacky turnaround. As BREN come into this series as underdogs, but they are delivering. I said this was going to be my game of the day. I'm very happy that we got to see this, such a tight play from BREN. Such a good turnaround from what we had seen in the previous season. Straight away, this retake, it's gone to hell. No way they're getting in there. Micro and Pappy shutting them down. Derek doing a little bit of support from afar with his 3K. And 12-11 we go. BREN in the lead now. And looking next to untouchable on the T side. Tiger, I don't know what they're doing, man. That was so odd. To play retake B, I don't think I've ever seen that from a team of their caliber. I don't think I've ever seen that full stop.
I think I've definitely seen it, but I don't know if I've seen it work, is the main thing. Like, I've seen teams attempt to just, like, give it up or play from the door, but it almost seemed like they didn't even have that as a possibility until one of their players was dead. Like, NCL was just like, oh, they're not going to push the B side. I'll just keep watching towards middle. I'm sure everything's absolutely fine. Then turns around to see a full squad with the bomb being planted. It's a weird one. And as I said, I think that's the side of the map that they're really struggling on. I think A is one where a lot of the time it's going to be a little bit 50-50 in the duels that you take, but with the B site, it's not even been close. Like, Tiger have really, really struggled to actually hold on to those positions. And as I said, like, we've seen a couple of rounds where they managed to get some kills with, like, double scouts and stationing an AWP there. But in terms of the actual hold, it's been pretty poor.
Well, let's see if they can improve on their hold in this round. Tiger definitely in a little bit of trouble. They're in dire straits. They're playing quite a passive hold on A as well. Urcast trying to change that. He can't get through that molly safely. He's hoping they peek him close. Oh, no. He played anti-flash for his team's flash, but it didn't come in time. Not even close. Well, that's a sloppy start to the round for sure.
Well, managing to do something on this sort of cross. It's a bit of a weird angle to try and battle from. Suppose you're only really going for the headshots with the pistols anyway, or with the AWP, and the Tech 9. He's going to go for it. Not really needed, but hey, you know, they're clearly feeling confident. Nice shot from NCL, but ultimately doesn't matter. The money stays strong. And for the CT side, well, we need to see something, Mitch, because in the second half, as said, it's been one round. They were 10-5 in the lead. It's now 13-11 to BREN. BREN have looked like the better side through and through. There hasn't been a bad performer. Like, let's put it this way. Everybody has 18 to 23 kills except one man, and that one man has 10 assists. So, yeah, Derek, he's actually going to go for an entry here. They've dropped him the AWP to try and find an opener. There's been quite an aggressive stance on this B side of the map. So it might be the right call, but Cabal wins it anyway. He might be waiting. But there's nothing he can do if he doesn't hit the shot.
It's now or never for Cabal. Has to be hitting these. Players have already crossed to the right side. This is isolating him quite a bit. Molly, he's inside it. Does he not realize? He's down to 2 HP by the time he gets out of there. Oh my. Well, this is not what we wanted to see. He's taking my breath away on that one. Really committing to it.
Still plenty of time with the early stages of that round going in the favor of Tiger. It's a complete switch up back towards A. And again, it seems like there could be a complete path straight onto the A side. I do think that, like, obviously you have to take gambles when it comes to Dust 2, but some of the gambles that are being taken by Tiger really worry me. Like, there are moments where if their opponents were to push in that timing, they cannot win the round. Like, they would have just given a path to the bomb side. Like with B a couple of rounds ago, Now this one, oh, the timing can be worse, but it's gonna get away with it anyway. Urkus combining alongside 9 as well. Looking like this round's going a little bit better. I think we should have a second in this half at least, but a bomb plant still going to give some good money. Micro actually catches the cross, but they might not spot the player slowly walking up the ramp. Never mind, Micro gets him too. It's left on Tim to try and ace this one. A third kill comes up, but he can't quite close it. Cabal low, that was a scary thought. And what was meant to be the first sort of cleaner round for the side of Tiger still comes up being a costly one. A real nice attempt from Micro, and I guess we're starting to see what they saw in him when they picked him up.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, you know, I never want to be too judgmental with these players in the very early days of the lineup, especially not playing against decent level teams, like up against a team like Tiger. But I think Micro is delivering. You think about it, Tom, from this perspective, if this was his first game that we'd seen him in, we'd be saying he was the super sub. You know, he'd be the Ronin baby at the moment of the lineup. So I think it's very very deceptive to judge them early on, in especially depending on the maps. Even, like, who knows what they've been scrimming with him. Maybe they haven't practiced the maps they played. I mean, and obviously he's trying to figure out his role on the fly. Could be different from what he's played in the past. There's just so much happening. And that was the thing with Magix. Like, Magix genuinely was terrible when he started on Spirit. Like, he played so poorly. And it just, I remember he was brought on that lineup alongside Mur. So it was like, I see why they've gotten Mur, but who the hell is this guy? Like, some 16-year-old not playing well. Like, it seems like they just put out a you know, post on Reddit. We need a player, you know? But then you see it, you know, 2-3 months in, when they've got their practice, when he's comfortable with what he's doing, figuring out his role in the team. Now he's a solid player. And it is, sometimes that's what's required. But it's very hard to tell the difference between someone trying to find the role and someone that's just terrible. That's the hard part.
Oh, he's going to get him through the smoke. I was going to say take the shot, but he beat me to it. Decent position in the corner as well, with Wits finally finding the trade. Cabal needs to start connecting some shots, though, otherwise he's going to get overwhelmed. And even with the early trades going in their favor, it's still going to be an afterplant 3v3 for the side of BREN. We've spotted the weaknesses on this B site already, and it seems that they continue. Urkus will spot the cross into the corner. Now, there's 2 Molotovs here for the CT side, so if they're used appropriately, they should be able to clear that man out, and he's just going to burn. But Pappy actually manages to keep things even once again. They've got to be careful of the tunnels. I think they might have to be a little bit more proactive here. Even still, though, they're holding the line. With Pappy now finding another one is left onto Urkus, and they can't do anything. It seems round after round, a player from BREN steps up, and it's going to be 14 now. Tiger with some money in the bank, but not enough to really bring up a proper purchase. This is looking good for the side of BREN.
Didn't expect to be here, Tom. You know, when I look at the other maps that are coming up, I don't feel like it's going to be quite as easy when they get to train. I think we'll probably tend back to Micro playing quite poorly there. As we said yesterday, he looked lost, was the thing on Dust 2, as you made the great point at the very start. It is very rare that you see a team or a player, like, you can't really give them the excuse of, oh, you're not comfortable when it comes to Dust 2 or anything like that. Like, you have to be. Come on.
Yeah.
But on train, I don't think he's going to have that same comfort level based on what we saw yesterday. And so, really, winning this in Mirage is where I see them having the best chance of closing the series.
Focused. Trying to be a little bit sneaky here. They've got information that is going to be towards long. With the double scouts, there's at least potential here. Nice shot from Pro, though. Like, individually, this team has been really, really good, but I'm actually impressed with how they're playing as a unit. Like, it seems like when it comes to trades, communication, BREN are looking like maybe even the best team in the tournament, which, well, I don't know if you guys were baiting me from what you saw in the last season, the last RMR, but I'm feeling blessed to have BREN.
Compared to some of the other teams, shall we say, who at times can seem like somewhat of an afterthought, put it that way.
Or like an aftershock.
Well, during an aftershock is during those games, it feels like I'm in shock, just staring at something I don't understand. But yeah, BREN have definitely looked good. I 100% agree. I'm enjoying watching them, and as I said, it really is a joy. What's that thing, like, this one sparks joy when a team comes in and they look pretty bad in the previous season. They change out a good player for someone that underperformed day one, and yet they look better. And that's all I want. That's all I want, Tom. I just want to come into these tournaments and see teams getting better week on week, month on month, tournament on tournament. And if they can do that, you know what? I'll deal with them not knowing how to retake sites sometimes, or not knowing how to throw smokes, or not knowing not to rush into two players while you're full blind. I'll deal with that if it means that in a month we won't see that.
Because they won't get through the qualifier.
One can only hope.
I feel like I've ruined your positive spin. Either way, that's what I'm here for. And potentially, I'm here for what could be the last round of this match. Just 2 rounds coming in for the CT side of Tiger. We expected big things. They came in wanting to win the tournament. They're not even looking like a top 4 squad, I'll be honest, from this map so far. Even if they manage to bring this back, are they going to beat Tyloo? Probably not. Are they going to beat Vici? Probably not. That Molotov's missed. That's not a good start. Kabao is going to be able to hide in the corner. Even with them missing some of these nades, they've been able to wipe him out quite regularly. And they should know that, well, they haven't pushed off the back of this Molotov, so he could still be here. We're going to see it thrown again, and, well, the corner's cleared. But this is what I mean. Even though he's given free reign, it doesn't matter. Oh, like, this is a poor B-side defense. Urka's trying to be the hero. And, like, I get it at this point. Like, he got 19 kills in the first half. Now, by my very basic maths, that means he's had 4 in this second half, which I don't want to harp on him. It's their B-side defenders that have left him in a position where he's had to take these risks, but now he's made it even tougher. Nice shot from 9. If they manage to turn this back, even in a 2 versus 4, that would be huge, but Pappy is there again, and Micro will combine with him. 27 kills for a man who managed just 13 in the whole series he played yesterday.